Hello and welcome back to 7 Words to the Cross. And I'm glad that you're in a small group and you're hearing this, or maybe you're hearing it over the web. Our cargillumc.org page will carry each of these so that if you miss a session, you can always catch back up. This is our third week, and we have spent the first week on the word to the cross. That was the mocking word. The word of scorn, the word of abuse. So as we reflect during the season of Lent, we are reflecting on words to the cross, things that passers-by or people around the cross might have been saying. We're also reflecting on our responses in life and how there can be some similarities between what people said then to the cross, what people say now, and our own reactions. So the first week was the word of scorn. And then last week we considered the late word. How it is that, sometimes we're like, I wish I would have said that. I wish I would have done that. And we look back and we know that it's just too late. But we thank God for God's grace because there is forgiveness and there is the opportunity that we have to move forward. It doesn't do us a lot of good to focus on the past and to bemoan the past that cannot be changed. So we're invited always into the future, but to live the future with intention, so that we won't get to another point of our life and again have the complaint of, we missed the boat again. Well, there's a similarity between last week, the late word, and this week, the third week, which is the word of indifference. Because the results are the same. We've blown it. We've missed an opportunity. We've not done what we should have done, or we've done what we shouldn't have done. But the word of indifference is different because it's often something we're not even aware of. And so we will pray for God's insight to open our hearts, to make us more aware. Well, I've brought a few pictures with us again today, so let's pick up where we left off last week. That was Pilate washing his hands. The late word, really. Jesus, you're innocent, but I'm not going to do anything for you. Or the late word, Jesus, you are the Son of God, you are the King of the Jews, but there's nothing that I can do or will do. So the late word is an affirmation perhaps of who Jesus was, but without taking a stand for Jesus. And as a reminder, it was at the fortress of Antonia that this all took place, and we can see the fortress that's right next to the temple area. The temple area was over 35 acres, I believe. So it was a large compound where the temple was, and the Romans had built a fortress just right next to it. So that they could care for the policing, to keep the ground safe during especially the high times. But as a reminder, Pilate was in charge of the various garrisons of soldiers, and the extra soldiers were brought in during this time of the Passover, where there was lots of people from all the surrounding areas coming in to worship. Another interesting thing about the fortress Antonia is that there's the ancient ruins are still around today. And they are housed in what is called the Lithostratus Covenant of the Sisters of Zion. And it's located just off the Via Dolorosa. The Via Dolorosa is the way of the cross in Jerusalem, and the Catholic Church embraces stations of the cross. So the Via Dolorosa is the path that Jesus would have taken from his sentencing all the way to the cross. So this lithostratus is important because it's right beneath where this Roman garrison would have been. It's right near where the archway where Pilate would have been talking to the people and trying to convince them not to crucify Jesus. And it also is the place where there is some actual pavement from the day of Jesus. Now, On the next slide, we see what is the theme of this week, the word of indifference. Here, Jesus is being crucified. There are women around this crucifixion time that are weeping for the people that they love. Not only Jesus is crucified, but at least two thieves on either side of him, and probably others. And what are the soldiers doing and debating? Well, they're gambling. You see, one of the benefits of being a soldier at crucifixion duty is that you could get the remaining possessions, which were mainly only clothes. And we have the idea that Jesus had his last undergarment was a one piece of cloth, of clothing. And they said, well, let's not tear it. Let's not tear it and divide up this piece of cloth. Let's gamble for it. So this is just an artist's depiction of the soldiers gambling for Jesus. The interesting thing here, and it may have been that they gambled when they were outside the city walls and where there was the grassy knoll or rocky area where Jesus was crucified, or they could have done it right around the Praetorium, right around St. Antonia's fortress. So, back to the Lithostrata, and under the St. Antonia fortress is original pavement going back to the time of Jesus. And on the next slide, we see that this pavement has a depiction carved right in of a Roman game called the King's Game. And it was a game board, much like we play Monopoly or something else, but it was a king board or a game board used for a dice game that recalls the casting of lots for Jesus' clothing after his crucifixion. And so the idea was that whatever dice was thrown, maybe it would depict thorns going on the head, or maybe nails going through the hands, or maybe being beaten. But anyway, the game was played, and someone would have won, and they would have received all the clothing of Jesus. I mentioned that the late word and the word of indifference have similarities. The late word is something we wish we would have said or done. The word of indifference are words or acts that we should have noticed or undertaken, but we're so caught up in our own lives or the lives of the world that we may not even see. So as we come back to Cargill and our own cross, we remember that the point of this study is to understand something historically, yes, but also to reflect on our own lives, our own relationship to Jesus Christ, and our own relationship with people, and think about, where have we been indifferent? Where have we been so caught up into the things of our life or the things of the world that we maybe just missed the boat? That we didn't see somebody that was hurting around us. We didn't see a need. Maybe we were looking out for ourselves, but in the meantime, people were being hurt around us. The word of indifference. We as a society are so inundated with information. We're inundated with violence. We're inundated with grim economic news, grim healthcare news, lots of grim news. It's easy to just be so choked by the worries of the world that we become indifferent to the needs of those that are right around us. So as we reflect in the study, as we reflect historically, as you come to terms with J. Ellsworth Callis's wisdom, may we reflect on our own lives, and may God open us up to a new understanding of caring and love, so that we will not be ones that speak the indifferent word. God bless you.